Hi, everyone, and welcome to the show tonight. I'm so glad you're here. I have a wonderful guest for you, my friend Teresa Velardi. And Teresa is a very, very accomplished potter. You can see her, her work on the internet, and she'll tell you just where to see it. She's also an author. She is an editor. She is a radio show host. She has a show called Transformational Tuesday, and it's on Tuesday afternoons at noon, and you can listen to that every single Tuesday. So, Teresa, thank you so much for being on the show. How are you?
Thanks, Lori. I'm really excited to be here. I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm excited. So I when you asked me, I was like, yes, let's do this.
Great. I'm so glad you're here. So
yeah.
Tell me about your new book. Your new book is called A Daily Gift of Gratitude, and it's going to be a compilation book.
Right.
So you're looking for authors, you're looking for contributors, but tell us how you got the idea and what it's all about.
Well, you know, Lori, that's a great question, because for a long time I've been wanting to write like a daily devotional, a daily book. Like you could just get a few bits of information, somebody's story, a little bit of inspiration to start your day, so you didn't have to spend time reading, 25 pages of a book to read a chapter or whatever. And I do a lot of anthology books, and I read them all the time. I write for them all the time. The thing is I wanted something that people could get just a little snippet of inspiration for the day. So I had it on my heart for a long time to write a daily reader, and I will do that. I'm in the process of doing that. That's called the Daily Gift of Insight. That will come out after the Daily Gift of Gratitude. And when I thought about gratitude, which is something that is in my heart, in my soul, and I think is in the heart and soul of really everybody, we just don't give it a lot of people just don't give it the opportunity to come to the forefront all the time. So I wanted to write a daily reader that had gratitude being expressed by many voices. So I decided that I was going to put together a daily reader called A Daily Gift of Gratitude and invite people to participate. And that's how that came about. And we're looking to launch it in the spring. And I've got a website put up there. It's called YourStoryMattersNow.com. Go ahead, ask me why I chose that.
Well, I know why you chose that, because your story does matter. And that is where, if you are interested in being an author, a contributing author to this book, you can find more information and contact Teresa that way. But tell me what Your Story Matters means to you.
Well, you know, a lot of people in my times of speaking to people about writing and about just in general through conversations that I've had with friends, with family, with a lot of people who come to the Transformational Tuesdays show every week, you know, we've been told that our story doesn't matter, or we have nothing important to say, or, you know, I remember as a kid, children should be seen and not heard, and all that stuff. So we take that with us into our adult life. And a lot of people don't think that they matter, that they have nothing to bring the world, that they have nothing that will make a difference. And really, every single one of us has a story that really matters to someone else in the world. It may not have mattered when you were a little kid. It may not have mattered when you were growing up. But you know what? Your story matters now, because it's going to be something that will maybe inspire somebody else to not take the same path, or to think twice about doing something, or to really honor themselves and give voice to what's in their hearts. So every story matters now.
Mm-hmm. Every story does matter. And that is a great title for your website. I love that.
Yeah.
So tell us about, let's just talk about gratitude, for example. I mean, why is that so important? I know that in my own life, when I sit and just just sit still and be grateful and think about all the things that I am grateful for, from the smallest thing, like having a roof over my head, to, you know, the bigger things, the bigger blessings, the family I have and the friends that I have, and things like that. I feel so blessed, and things start to change. You feel different. I think you feel different as soon as you start saying to yourself why you are grateful. What do you think, Teresa?
Totally agree with you, because for me, I always say that gratitude is the key that unlocks the door of prosperity in every area of your life, prosperity and abundance. Because when you say thankful for, thank you, I'm grateful for, I have gratitude for. When you're expressing gratitude in any of those ways, it is like telling God, telling the universe that you appreciate everything that you have, and you always have enough and abundance. It builds an abundant attitude. So, you know, I know a lot of people who really don't have much of anything, but you would think that they were millionaires because they are grateful for every single thing that they have. And I also know people who have really bad attitudes when it comes to this topic. And I mean, I remember having a conversation with someone some time ago that I said I was going to use the B word. they were like making a passionate list about things that they didn't have, and all the negativity that flowed from this person's mouth was just, it was toxic. And I said, stop. Tell me one thing you're grateful for. I'm not grateful for anything. Oh no? Let me start with, how about the roof over your head, the air that you breathe, the sunshine that's outside the window, the sun that rises every day? How about the children that you were blessed with, and the grandchildren you were blessed with? And I got that all out in just about one breath. And this person stopped and said, I better start looking at life differently. And they have, because, you know, it's just, you always feel like you have enough. And I think Oprah has a quote out there just to that statement. If you have an attitude of gratitude, you will always have enough. And if you don't, you will never have enough. So that's why gratitude is so important to me. And I even have a Facebook page people can go to. It's called Grateful Hearts. And I try and post everything in gratitude there as well. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, it is so important. And the thing that I've found is that when you just start to list those things that you're grateful for, the list just grows and grows and grows and grows. So, you know, when you start thinking that way in like you said, abundance, when you start thinking about everything you've got and everything you're grateful for, and you know, it's a completely different way of thinking, because, you know, I, like a lot of other people, I make lists of what I have to do, what I haven't done, what I want to accomplish, things like that. And you start focusing on those things, and that's really focusing on lack. So if you can say, I am so grateful for this, 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 and this, and then you can look at that and even say, well, I accomplished this, I can accomplish this other thing over here that you made that list for. You know, it's an empowering feeling.
Yeah, it is an empowering feeling. And I have to be honest with you, I start my day every day listing at least 3 things that I'm grateful for. And over the years, my gratitude practice has evolved and changed. And Bob Proctor, one of the key people in the, I guess you want to call it, self-help industry, he says that if you start your day with something like, or even with not necessarily starting your day, but when you make a gratitude statement that is like this: I'm so happy and grateful now that, and you put something that you want in the future in that gratitude statement, it's as though you already have it. So it's really giving gratitude for something that you have in your future. Let me give you an example. I'm so happy and grateful now that there's $100,000 in my bank account. And you'll see as you do this, and if you continue to do this, you'll watch things happen where money comes to you from places that you don't expect. And if you say that you have it, you're basically asking the universe to provide this to you. And if you do it, the biggest thing is you have to feel it in your heart. Doing it, write it down, saying it doesn't do it. You've got to feel it in your heart. And that's what activates what most people refer to as the law of attraction that will bring those things to you. So my gratitude practice has changed over the years. Sometimes I do that, and sometimes I make a list of all the things that I recognize that are going on around me. Like the time I spent with my brother yesterday was fantastic, or the time I spent with my sister 2 weeks ago, and I don't get to see my family very often. And usually when I see my family, it's a challenge. But lately it's been awesome, so I'm happy.
Yeah, every time you're going to meet your family, you want to say, I am so grateful for my family.
Yes, indeed. And send that before you even get in the car.
Exactly. Well, I want to switch gears just a little bit here, and I want to talk about your pottery. Your pottery is so beautiful, and I want to know where your website is that people can go and look at this. I have the most beautiful red one, which I think you still have a picture of. And it's just perfect. I mean, this little vase that I have, it's probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches high, and it's bright, most beautiful color of red, and it is so pretty, and it's right up there on the fireplace. It's got its own little, that's where it lives. And
it's got a home. Yeah.
Every time I look at it, I think of Teresa.
Thank you. Right now, my pottery website is actually under construction. I've got to get some photos taken of all the pots that I'd like to display on there. But I do have a Facebook page, and it's Teresa Velardi, Teresa, and it's Velardi, Potter, Potter. And there's a bunch of pictures on there. And you can see all the various different kinds of pots. There's the red ones. There's the horsehair ones that are made with, taking the pots out of the kiln at 1,000 degrees and touching horsehair to the surface. So every one of them is unique and an individual. All my pottery is one of a kind. Even when I'm making sets, they still each have a life of their own. And every single one of them is different. But pottery for me is a way to connect me to the earth and to God and to myself. It's time that I spend with the clay, with me, and just really, I just let whatever is going to happen in any given moment, I just do my best to let it flow. That's why I don't take orders from people.
Yeah, they choose from what you decide to make, right?
Yeah. Well, it's whatever I decide to make. And here's what I tell them. When I'm making bowls until they're done. When they stop, I stop. And then maybe it's the vases. Maybe I'll make vases until they stop. And then maybe it's cups or whatever. But I do my best to honor that space as sacred. And it's the same thing when I'm writing. If you create sacred space for yourself to grow, regardless of whether it's in art of any kind or individually, in something internal within yourself that you feel like you need to spend time on it. And beauty comes from it, whether it's a pot or whether it's a story or whether it's a shift in perspective to gratitude or whatever.
Now, there's a story behind the horsehair pots, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us that story?
Well, actually, I learned how to do this from somebody on Long Island. But I think the story you're referring to is the story that I gave to Kat for the book that will come out one day. Is that the story you're talking about? Okay. So my friend Karen has a horse farm in Arkansas, and when I told her I was making horsehair pottery, I said, save some hair for me. And now, just so that you know, no horses are harmed in the process. The hair that I get on these for these pots comes out of the brush when people are brushing the mane and the tail, and that's the hair that I use. So Karen had rescued a horse named Shadow. And Shadow ended up dying And what I didn't know when Karen gave me the horsehair, when I asked her for it, Shadow had just passed away, and she cut some of the hair off of Shadow's tail and put it in a bag and gave it to me. So I have some pots that are downstairs that are ready to be fired with the horsehair. And so I will use some of Shadow's hair, which heard that story in itself on how she saved that horse from being sent to the, I don't know what they call it, the butcher or whatever, to do whatever they do with horses. She saved this horse, and the horse lived a good life for a long time, and then the horse died. And I don't want to take away from her story when the story comes out, but the bottom line is I had no idea until Karen wrote that story, and then she told me that the hair that she gave me was from Shadow. So I just love the fact that I can now gift back to her a memory of her precious animal, her precious friend, her precious family member that she had, because we adopt our animals as our family members. Everybody knows that. They're not animals, they're people in different bodies. So.
Exactly. Now you also, you're talking about Karen Mayfield.
Yes.
Who is your partner, your business partner with Wake Up Women.
Yes.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about Wake Up Women.
Wake Up Women is an organization that was created. Karen built a business and a brand from a book. She started a book called Wake Up Women, and then she created an organization, and that's how I met our mutual friend, Kat Canavos. And basically, Karen has used Wake Up Women to help women get their stories told in anthology books. And that's one of the reasons, one of the ways that I got started in doing the publishing that I do through the publishing company that I started after working with Karen for a few years. And we have several different book titles. There's Wake Up Women, Wake Up Women Be You, and there's 4 books in that series. There's Conversations That Make a Difference. We did 2 books with other women's organizations, and Karen's working on the website now, redoing the whole website and getting ready for a couple of other new ventures that she's coming up against with the prosperity. There's the prosperity program that she's putting together. So it's, and there's just so much going on right now with that. So I'm trying to pull the pieces out of my head because I was in a different mindset. But there's a lot of things happening with Wake Up Women. There's going to be something that she's doing on abundance that's going to start from what I saw a little while ago. She just showed me a page that she's creating. It's going to start on October 1st. So there's a lot of good things coming up. So the website will be done in a little while, probably in the next couple of weeks, and it's wakeupwomen.com. So go there, watch for the new information to be put up, and see what's happening. So we got all kinds of things going on there.
Great. I'm so glad that you guys are continuing your great work with Wake Up Women.
Yeah, me too.
Those are a lot of inspiring stories and a really inspiring book series, and they're just great stories. Also, now we got to touch on that you are a radio show host as well, and you have Transformational Tuesday. So tell us about your show. It's a video show, right? Like this one.
Now it's a video show, yes. Started out as a teleconference, 2010 or 2011, and I was doing a teleseries, where we talk about all things transformational, inspiration, education, motivation, and conversation. Focused on transformation is basically what it is. And for the first couple of years, I would rarely have a guest on my show. I really would just do some teaching and pick a word. Lori, I'm a word nerd, but don't tell anybody, okay?
I won't.
So I kid around that I have this ongoing relationship with my good friend Webster. So I would take a word and I would, talk about like what it means to be transformed, for example. And we'd have a half-hour conversation about that. And then we got picked up by a radio station in Florida that was playing the replays for Transformational Tuesdays and another show that I was doing with co-hosts called Fearless Fridays, and they were picked up by a radio station in Florida. And then after a while, I had a couple of things going on, and I decided to take a sabbatical. And then last year, 2015, in September, I decided to bring it back. Different platform, have a guest every week, and talk about whatever it was that person's expertise, and always in the light of transformation. So we've had people like Barbara Niven, the Hollywood actress. We've had Kat Canavos, who is an award-winning, our friend, and an award-winning author, best-selling author, international best-selling author. And I'll give you a plug here. You and she do the Wicked Housewives on Cape Cod radio show, which I hope to be visiting you in October. And, you know, I have Kat, I have had Barbara, I've got a bunch of different people. Tomorrow I have a lady named Adrienne Graham. She's been on the show a couple of times, and she really helps women build companies and get them ready for investors. And so we have personal conversations, we have business conversations, we have heart-to-heart, soul-to-soul conversations with the people who come to Transformational Tuesdays. And it's not just for women, it's for men too. Recently I had Dwayne Cummings, who is, he wrote a book called The Sensational Salesman. They call him the Sensational Guy. His company name is something sensational. I don't know, but he's doing a lot of things to change the world through charities and organizations that are bringing education to third world countries and throughout a lot of the African nations. And so he's really doing a lot of things to change this world wherever he can. So people who are making a difference, people who are living transformational, transformed, or transforming lives, because I don't think we're ever really truly transformed until our time on this earth is up. I think that we are always and forever changing and transforming.
Well, I think that's true too, because if there's one thing that we can depend on, it's change.
Absolutely.
To change, and I think that's so evident with the internet these days. I mean, every time you turn around, there's a new app, there's a new program, there's a new something. I was just talking to one of my friends about Snapchat, saying, "Do you know anything about Snapchat? Do you know what it is?" And you know it. And the other great thing about it is that everything is new all the time, so your experience doesn't mean much. You can jump in anytime and learn the latest thing and do that. So the internet is great for everybody, even older people who feel that, maybe the internet has passed them by and they really don't know that much about social media or this or that. Just jump in, there's something new all the time. And all of a sudden, you're if you haven't been on the internet in 2 weeks, I would say now you're out of it.
Exactly.
Things have been started. Yeah.
I'm in agreement. I mean, look at this platform. Look at Zoom. I mean, this is amazing. It's just, and when the show is over, you have the audio and the video together, just like we are right now. And then they send you the audio by itself, and you can put it on podcasts. You can get yourself out there at the click of a button. And it seems to be getting easier and easier and easier. And you can put this on your phone. The other night I'm part of a group of women who are coaching with this girl who's in with this professional woman who's in Australia. And I was coming back from my brother's house last night, and I'm on my phone. I've got my phone on in my car, and I'm listening to this. I'm listening to everybody talk. I'm participating as though I was sitting in front of my computer, and I got my phone. It's just so easy. Everything is so easy.
And the world is getting smaller and smaller, because were you talking to, his name Shoshone?
No. Her name is Katie Joy.
Oh, Katie Joy. Oh, okay. Well, we have another person in Australia for you to talk to.
Okay.
That, along the same line. So we'll get you to her too.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. I love this format. And like you can even just talk to your friends, you know,
Mm-hmm.
without getting on the cell phone. You can do, you know, you can fix your hair and get on Skype or get on Zoom and talk to everybody. It's great.
There you go. Yeah. And you know, the great thing about this and the other platforms like this where you can talk is like, you know, we talked about family a little bit earlier. I mean, I have a niece in Virginia who I don't get to see very often. And when I want to talk to her, I try not to call her on the phone. I try and get her on Zoom so I can see her and I can see her kids and, you know, whatever else is going on. So it's, you know, you're right. The world is getting smaller and smaller because of the fact that we have such incredible internet capabilities. And, you know, that's one of the things that really has helped me to, and is continuing to help me, especially like with this book thing, to gather authors for, you know, a daily gift of gratitude. I can put up a video, which I did, put up a video and the information about what I'm looking for, whose kind of stories I'm looking for, and people can see it all over the place. And I can go advertise it on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever else. And I don't know the Snapchat thing, Lori. I haven't gone there yet.
Well, Snapchat only lasts 24 hours. It's that my niece and nephew use it all the time to like talk to each other, and you have your family and your friends follow you. So like say you're on vacation here on Cape Cod, you take a picture, a selfie, you put it on Snapchat, all of a sudden everybody knows all your family sees the picture. And
Oh, wow, that's funny.
yeah, it's like texting them the picture, but like instead of just one person, you text all these people at the same time, and they all know because they all get a little ding on their phone, and they get to see the picture, and you know, it's like this instant communication with a photograph. And you know, so many people thought, oh, the internet, it's kind of, you know, it's making people not communicate like together anymore. They're texting, no one's using the phone and stuff like this. But this is all changing now with video. I mean, when you start talking to somebody on a video presentation, you know, you may as well be almost in the same room, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we what, a year ago, I was still doing my radio show, you know, my on a telephone, and now look, it's like, okay, now you got to now you got to do your hair and, you know, whatever to get, to get on.
Right, because yeah, a year ago, 2 years ago, we were only doing radio shows, and now it's video, and you know, who knows what's going to be next. But it's just kind of an exciting time to be involved in the internet and into this format, and it's great. You have great messages to get across.
Look at all the things we talked about today that are in relation to what I do. We got the radio show, we got pottery is out there, we got the book things are out there, Wake Up Women, all these different things that you can just, with a click of a mouse, you can just see it all.
That's right. That's right. And then we want you to look for Wicked Housewives on Cape Cod. Wicked Housewives on CapeCod.com, where you can see our TV shows, where you can see the interview that Kat Canavas and I did with Teresa on Abuse to Abundance. And we have a great series on that, on you know, domestic abuse that is really, really good. So you can tune into that too, and Transformational Tuesdays, and your new book, A Daily Gift of Gratitude.
Yes.
So looking forward to it, Teresa.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Lori.
Hey.
Bye.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You've been watching the Lori Boyle Show.